Hi and welcome to another edition of OnsideSA, and we found a winner in one of our last one standing competitions, and they've trimmed by a third the second one. So as Budge predicted at the beginning, a few weeks ago, you said it'll be tough to win this. I mean, they'll be all out before the end. How many games are left in the Premier League?
There's 5 games left, and after 4 rounds, if Leicester hadn't won, there'd have been 4 people left.
Sure.
It's unbelievable, the results.
Our beloved Stevie B's gone.
Yeah, Liverpool snared him again, yeah.
You see, you should learn. Don't take Spurs, don't take Liverpool.
There's one common denominator in this current competition.
Yeah.
Every early kickoff's been an upset.
That's interesting stuff.
Chelsea.
Let's run through them, but firstly, congratulations are in order.
Yeah.
Sean Matthew without a surname.
Yeah, I did well, Paul.
But he's been up there every competition. He really seems to catch it right.
Paul, what he does, he likes a team. He lumps all his entries on them.
Yeah.
More and more people are following suit. Obviously, if it goes pear-shaped, he's gone.
Yeah.
But, he's played well.
It could be a TKO.
Yeah, it could
you're lumping all on.
Yeah.
There's so many predictable games don't work out that way,
Yeah, but he's played well.
But, so well done. Sean Matthew wins, and he's still going strong. And the other one, let's talk about the other one. We're into week 4. There's 34 of 93 left, Budge.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to put my glasses on because you've written this a little bit smaller. These are the guys that went through. Leicester 30.
30, Paul.
And they were 1-0 down.
1-0 down, yeah.
Man City 3, Chelsea 1. Liverpool went, Brighton went, Aston Villa went, Arsenal went, West Brom and Wolves. So 34 left. Here we go. 5 for Sean Matthew.
Oh, Paul, he was on Leicester. He went out with Liverpool on his other 5.
Yeah.
And he must have been coaching when they were 1-0 down. If Riedewald had shot when he got the runaway, they could all have been gone.
Yeah.
But they sneaked in there. Nacho scored a superb goal. But, Paul...
No guy's ever won back-to-back.
No.
And he's in the driving seat.
He's in the driver's seat, Paul.
But Gary Furry's pressing hard with 3.
Yeah.
Greg Pecci, is that right?
That's right, for 3.
And there are 2 former champions, Vivian Moodley and George Salentis, both still in.
Both still in, Paul.
I always like your lurkers. Mark McManus, Andy Nicol, Mithan Harilal, Selwyn Elk, the bookmaker, and Robbie Talon.
Robbie Talon. Now, Robbie introduced Sean to the competition because Robbie.
So he's to blame.
And the funny thing about Sean, the first competition he entered, he deposited 900 Rand in the competition, and he sent me 3 entries. So I got hold of him. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, no, but isn't it 300 Rand entry? I said, no.
You should have said yes.
So he lumped all 9 on one team, and you know what happened?
Yeah.
Went out.
Just, have you ever met him?
No, I'm going to meet him next week, Paul.
Because he's a winner,
Yeah.
Try to get a photograph when you meet him.
Yeah, definitely.
Sean Matthew, we'll try to get a photograph of all our winners to throw in file 13. But with Stevie B out, I've got no one to mock, I've got no one to tease, but Stevie's about. Let's get over to London and get Stevie B on the line. Stevie, you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right. A little bit disappointed still after that 95th minute mistake by the Liverpool defence, but
yeah. Absolutely, it's hard to keep going. But Steve, you're getting better, if that's any consolation. I do think so. But Budge, are we going to start off with
Champions League, Steve. I was a little bit disappointed in how Chelsea didn't go for it in the second half. I thought they were in control of the game, but seemed to panic once Real Madrid went through. How did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, the first half particularly, they played very well, and if not for a Werner, another Tino Werner miss, they could have had that second away goal. Could have been crucial. But overall, I think beforehand they would have, Tuchel would have thought if we score a goal and avoid defeat, they would have been happy. You just sort of felt that Real Madrid were there for the taking if they really went for it. But I think ultimately they'll be pleased. But look, that tie is not done. Real Madrid, we know have got a quality, but I just think Chelsea. And Kante particularly, I thought he was exceptional. I mean, he just didn't stop running. I mean, he must have swallowed an extra Duracell battery because he covered every blade of grass, and it's as well as I've seen him play almost for Chelsea.
I think Chelsea will cruise through, Steve. You're the middle of park for Real Madrid. That's their strength.
They can't defend.
Modric was walking around. Casemiro looks injured, and Cruz.
Have they got an aging squad?
They've been. I've watched them the last couple of games in Spain. They battle to score a goal. Bar Benzema, they don't score. Apparently the captain may be back, Ramos.
Yeah, I heard that, and let's say he does make it.
Yeah, he gets them wound up.
So it could be Ramos a player.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't think that would be enough to make the difference. I think,
No.
as you said, in the midfield, Chelsea dominated.
They roasted them. They had
Modric,
chances
they couldn't
after
impose
chance, yeah.
themselves, and their legs have gone a bit. So, look, I'd say it's Chelsea's to lose, but I think Chelsea got to not panic. They've got to go for it. It's not going to be easy, but they know that Real have got to score, and so I think Chelsea can catch them, and I think they've got a very good opportunity. I thought beforehand, after the way Real Madrid were playing against Liverpool, that could be a tougher game for Chelsea than it turned out.
Yeah, but if Salah had scored that early goal, remember, the ball came across. If he'd scored the early goal, I think Liverpool would have gone through. Haven't been impressed with Real Madrid the whole season.
Yeah, neither have I.
And I fancy Chelsea to roll them. On to last night, Steve. I was really disappointed in Pochettino. He gets a lot of credit for me, but second half when the game got tough, he just sat and didn't do anything. I know Man City came back and played well, but I thought PSG were really disappointing in the second half.
Yeah, I think that obviously Pep sort of got his players to push forward in the first half. Obviously Cancelo and Walker were sort of being a little bit sort of cagey and having to sit back a bit. The second half they pushed forward, and as you say, Pochettino and PSG didn't seem to have any idea as to how to combat it.
Yeah.
And bar sort of a couple of half chances and a few long balls, City completely dominated that second half and thoroughly deserved. And in the end, sort of PSG sort of started to lose it a bit. Could have had another one.
I think Stevie. It's whether you like it or not. There are 4 quality sides, and there's still a lot to play for here.
No, absolutely, and I don't think that Pep will think, well, this game is won because we know that how PSG can play away from home, particularly the way that they took the game to Bayern. But I don't think that City will be as cavalier as Bayern Munich were against them. So, I think. The first goal could be crucial. If City score it, I think that's game over. But again, I think very much so, more than the Chelsea. That is for City to lose. But De Bruyne and Foden, Gundogan, they just completely dominated that midfield in the second half, and deserved it. There's no question.
Yeah, Steve, Europa League tonight. We got Man United at home to Roma and Arsenal in Villarreal in Spain. You see both English clubs going through.
I think there'll be close games though. I think United certainly want to try and keep a clean sheet at home. I think they'd be happy even taking 1-0 over to Rome. They played them before. They got a decent record against them. They don't want any hiccups. And Arsenal got a tough game at Villarreal. They're not a bad side.
Yeah.
Obviously a little bit of extra spice with their ex-manager being there. I think if Arsenal play as they did in Prague, they really went for it, and I was very impressed. I think if Arsenal can score an away goal and avoid defeat, I think they'll go through. But I think they're going to be two good close games.
Okay, Steve, just a review on the League Cup. How did you see it?
Well,
no review needed.
At the end of the day, Tottenham tried, but City were by far the better team, and it was it was tight, and obviously they had to wait a while for the goal, but ultimately you never felt that Tottenham were going to get back in it.
Yeah, disappointed in Tottenham, although they could at least try to play a little bit further forward, but
it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Steve, talking of Spurs, I know I've got Paul, he's on a million Tottenham groups. What's the latest as far as the managerial position goes?
Well, it's interesting because somebody had said, I'd sort of read a few days ago that they thought they'd Nagelsmann, but he's now committed to go to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Look, I think they haven't got to rush. They would obviously want to get somebody in by the early summer because obviously with the transfer window opening. But look, there'll be no shortage of strong candidates, but it's getting the right one. And they're going to have a little bit of a clear out in the summer. So when you think a new manager coming in would want to be guaranteed some funds to bring in 1 or 2 of his own players. So we're going to see.
Steve, let me give you the latest news. Being a Spurs man, I won't tell you about Fulham. I'll tell you about Spurs. The short list for Spurs, listen to me, and this is from hot to the press, there's 3 players. And the first player is a guy called Ralf Rangnick, 62-year-old German who's a free agent now. A track record of attacking brilliant football. Second favourite is Erik ten Hag, the 51-year-old Dutchman from Ajax. Very strong attacking football. The third one is an interesting guy called Christopher Galtier, who's from Lille. He's 54 and he's a Frenchman. So I've got a German, a Dutchman and a Frenchman. These are three at the top of the heap at the moment. All the others from Surrey and everybody else they're bandying about, England coach, whatever. No, these are the three. It'll come from one of these three, Steve, the latest news.
Well, look, I mean, Ten Hag has done very well with Ajax.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he has to make do with the fact that his best players get sold pretty much every year, but still manages to get a strong team out and plays a sort of mix of youth and experience. So, but again, none of them got any experience in the Premier League, either
100%.
playing or.
The only way you get it to get out there.
So, it is a gamble. It's always a gamble.
But you want to play the brand of football. This whole article came out from the brand of football at Spurs. Spurs are famous for we win nothing, but we entertain. Now we're not entertaining and we're winning nothing. So the supporters up and on. There's a big supporters group who want Enoch out. Obviously they're pushing hard, but that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to be careful as to get what you wish for, because you don't know who else in the wings could buy it. But
so they will anyway. That's the latest.
Only one man for me, Steve.
Who?
Graham Potter. He plays good football. He's been with two struggling teams. One in Ostersund and Brighton.
Go look at the CV of these three guys. Bad teams. They're taking relegation teams year after year, right through at the top. I didn't know these guys' names.
And I've heard of them all, but English League's a different story. Steve, talking about the Premiership, we kick off, obviously, we won't discuss the Southampton-Leicester game because it's on Friday, but Brighton-Leeds United. I can't believe the betting in that. How do you see it?
No, well, exactly. It's interesting. I mean, Brighton, obviously now, are probably about the only club that Fulham or West Brom might be able to catch. They had a good draw at Chelsea, but there was a disappointing result for them losing at Sheffield United. They're going to want to try and bounce back and get something out of this game. But but I fancy Leeds, because I think Leeds have been playing well recently. They've got nothing to lose. They can't finish much higher than they are. Yeah. But I think they want to finish on a high. And I think Leeds could be too strong for them. I think Leeds, will just go for it, and they don't have to play with any nerves. They've been involved in over 100 goals for and against. So I think I'd expect there to be goals. Brighton still struggle at home. Yeah. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if Leeds get something there.
Yeah, I agree. Now, can your Fulham boys, Steve, get anything at Chelsea?
I think it's very unlikely. But, I just think our heads have gone a little bit. Since that win at Liverpool, it's just all gone wrong. And, their own fault. I mean, the game management at Arsenal, going into the 97th minute winning, and Villa going into the 75th minute winning, giving
Wolves,
a 94th goal away against Wolves. I mean, those things make a difference. And I think we need something like 4 wins now in our last 5. And I just can't see us, even though Chelsea have obviously got a huge game coming up next week, their squad is still strong enough. I think we'll struggle. I'd be, if we got a point, would be a great result, but it probably isn't enough.
Okay. Everton versus Aston Villa on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think they're probably a bit too strong. I think I fancy them. Having said that, they've drawn too many games. They could have been up there, really challenging for 4th place. But I think that's probably beyond them now. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if they could pinch a win there.
Okay, Steve. My upset of the week is Newcastle versus Arsenal. How do you see that going?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, Newcastle, I have to say, I mean, before 4 games ago, before that Tottenham game, everyone was saying Newcastle are going down, got no form, Fulham were going to catch them. 4 games later, they got 8 points and are showing a lot of fight, particularly the way that they finished strongly at Liverpool. Arsenal got a tough game tonight and got to play a strong team, so it's the sort of game that a few weeks ago I would have fancied Arsenal strongly, but I think Newcastle could hold them here. Yeah,
and the big one on Sunday, Man United, Liverpool?
Yeah, look, they're always a big game. I mean, obviously United, again, themselves have got a tough game tonight. But, I think United have got, that top 4 place pretty much sewn up. Liverpool have got to go for it. Nothing other than a win for them is probably going to help them. So I hope there are goals. There have been some classic games down the year. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's a draw. I don't think United want to lose to Liverpool, but I think Liverpool will go for it. So I'm hoping it's a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I agree. I fancy Liverpool of the 2 teams. Steve, on to the Championship.
Before you go to Championship, I just want to speak to this list you drew up here, Budge, is very interesting. Steve, I just want to talk to you about that 2nd place finish for the Premiership, I'm just having a look at it now. These points you put out in front of me, have they all played the same amount of games?
Everton have got a game in hand.
Yeah.
So Everton are 6th, they've got a game, so they can get...
So Everton are
70.
8th, so they win their game in hand, they go to 55, which is 6th, above Liverpool and Tottenham.
The point I'm trying to make here, if every team won every game,
Yeah.
they would go to Man United 82, Leicester 77, Chelsea 73, West Ham 73, Liverpool 69, Spurs 68, and Everton, because they've got an extra game, 70.
Yeah.
But Liverpool play Man United. So I know Spurs' run is
It's fairly simple, yeah.
fairly simple. It's not as strong as these, but because they're going to lock horns, these top
Yeah.
sides, and that we haven't even got the top side in Man City here. So I don't know.
Man
if
City have got, I think, they've got Chelsea and they've got Everton still to play.
Yeah.
So that's the key. But the league could be over.
Yes.
So maybe they'll start resting players. Steve, who are your top four? Obviously,
yeah,
Man
who are your
City.
top four?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I thought that Leicester might have just started to slip away, but they've shown a little bit of fight.
Yeah,
and Iniacho
correct.
has come in for Harvey Barnes, and he's scoring goals. So, he's scoring the goals more than Vardy. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the way things are, and again, it depends on who's playing each other, the top four could be the top four as it is now.
Yeah.
I thought Liverpool were going to get there, but they've dropped points in the last two games. I thought Tottenham were going to have a little bit of a run, but they've dropped points. So
Yeah.
it is going to be close. West Ham, I just sort of feel as if that was a huge defeat for them, losing to Chelsea. And losing to Newcastle, losing to Chelsea, their bubble might have burst a little bit. I think they'll be disappointed because they really had an opportunity.
I agree with you, Steve.
I can't see
One,
beyond
two,
the
three,
top
four.
four at the moment, but if anyone was going to break it could be Liverpool. But they've just got to,
They're gonna beat
their game
United.
management. I mean, again, apart from Salah, scoring goals, the rest just can't seem to hit the back of the net regularly enough. So, they created enough chances against Newcastle, but they're just not taking their goals properly.
All right, Steve. So
Thanks,
you've
Stevie.
got
I agree with you.
Man
Same 1, 2,
United,
3,
Leicester,
4.
Chelsea. That's the end
Yeah.
of Harry Kane at Spurs then.
That's
Okay,
it.
fair enough. Steve, on to the championship. As we discussed earlier, the top four are all settled at playoff places.
Yeah.
Do you think one or two teams will start resting players now?
In the championship.
Especially those top for the guys in the playoffs.
They don't always do that because again, you want your teams to go in on form. You rest somebody and they have a week off or 10 days off or something, and all of a sudden they're
Rusty.
They want them match fit, and they've only got 2 games to go now.
Yeah.
And again, I think that they will. Brentford look as if they're going to get that third spot now,
Yeah.
but the others are all pretty level, and I think you want to finish if you can 4th rather than 5th or 6th because you get to play your home leg second. So I think that those 3 teams locked in on 77 are all going to want to finish strongly and not be the one to play necessarily to come 6th and play Brentford.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
I think that they will, unless somebody's carrying a little bit of a knock, I think they will continue to play strong teams.
Okay. Talking to Brentford, they host Watford. I finally won a bet over my mate Andrew that they finished
I
above
think
them.
not. I mean, that's the sort of game that Brentford wish they probably would have played a few weeks ago because, it's done and dusted now. Watford are up. Brentford, can only get 3rd at the highest. I think Brentford probably will win that. I think, Watford, let's say feel that they could catch Norwich and are relaxed. They've probably been celebrating a bit, and it's easy to take your eye off the ball a little bit. I'm sure they want to finish strongly, but at the end of the day, they've done what they needed to do, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford win that.
Okay. Millwall at home against a struggling Bristol City.
Yeah, I mean, Millwall have fallen away. Bristol City have had a shocking run.
Yeah.
You have to think with Nigel Pearson going there, it does make you wonder, whether the board feel that he's actually made any difference at all. Because in fact, they're lower than they were than when he went there. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if Millwall just edged that.
Okay. Our man Wayne Rooney under severe pressure at Derby County. Can you see them upsetting Swansea City?
Personally, no. I think Swansea want to finish strongly. Again, I think Swansea want to try and finish in that 4th place. So, and Derby, a couple of bad defeats, and they're teetering.
Yeah.
Gee, they are
Depends whether or
teetering,
not Rooney can get the best out of his young squad, or they crack under the pressure. So, I fancy a Swansea win there.
Okay, Rotherham Blackburn. They said I watched Rotherham in the last half an hour against Brentford. How they didn't equalise, I don't know. I thought they deserved something better. Can you see them getting an upset against Blackburn?
Yeah, I mean, look, Blackburn had a good win last week at home after a sort of poor run, but Rotherham have to win this. I mean, they did look as if they were going to get out of it, but I think that all these games they've had to play to catch up has hurt them a bit. I wouldn't be at all surprised. I mean, Rotherham have got to throw everything at this. I think it'll be a good game. I think there'll be goals. And if they can get that win, I think it gives them half a chance still. So, yeah, I'm gonna plug for a home win there.
Okay, and last but not least, my hometown boys of Preston hosting Barnsley. Can we cause an upset?
I think you can. I mean, Barnsley, they know they've got that. They know they got that playoff place.
Yeah.
You know, they want to go. You know, again, they're in that mix to try and finish fourth. They
could finish third.
Football, but I think Preston, you know, have got nothing to lose. It's their last home game, and they go for it. So I think Preston could get something. All
right, Steve. I haven't asked you about your best bet. I'm going to do that now. Is Swansea your best bet?
Yeah, I'm going for Swansea. I think that they want to finish strongly, and I think they're just going to heap more pressure on Wayne Rooney.
Okay, and your value bet?
I'm going to go for Leeds.
Yeah,
I
me too.
just think that you know, on their day, I think they could be too strong for Brighton, and I think that there could be good things down there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just can't believe how the bookmakers, but they know what they're doing. But Leeds will definitely have my money. Paul, anything to add?
No, I think that you guys are on the button because Swansea could run third.
Yeah.
You know, there's all of those all those teams from third to sixth. I mean, it goes from 81 points to 77 points, and
there's 4 points between.
So I mean, I think I think they do. You know, finishing fourth just makes a little bit of a difference than finishing fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
The one game you didn't cover, Budge, which I think again has a huge bearing at the bottom, is Sheffield Wednesday
against Notts Forest, lunchtime kickoff.
And if they do, that could set up that game at Derby, and sort of winner takes all there. So I fancy Sheffield Wednesday to win and to be on Derby's coattails as well.
Derby can be overtaken by 2 teams behind them.
Yeah.
One's got a game in there and one's close to them. So it's very tight. Stevie, as always, fantastic.
Pleasure.
All the best, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, Stevie.
Cheers,
Stevie
bye.
B, our pundit in London. Right, let's get on to Premiership fixtures, Bud. You can give me your take on these games. Some interesting games coming up now. Talking about the 1, 2, 3, 4, I agree with Steve that they're playing the football to stay there. Those. Right, let's look what you got, Budge.
Well, this time last year, Paul, it was Southampton 0, Leicester 9. You remember that game? So there's been bad blood between the managers, obviously on a personal note because of the result. Paul, I just like what I see from Leicester. You know, they've been resting Maddison, and he's the key to the whole team. You know, we watched Southampton the other day. They've lost 12 or 15 league games, Paul.
Yeah.
They looked spent against Spurs. The first half, they were superb. Yeah, second half, once Spurs got on top of them, it was one-way traffic.
Yeah.
Leicester, everything to play for, Paul. I like Leicester.
11 to 10, eh, Budge?
Yeah.
It's not a bad price. Okay, let's Palace led and lost
Paul,
against Man City 3 to 10.
Palace always seem to give Man City a game there. I know they don't normally win, but I think they can score. I saw 11 to 10, both teams to score. You know, he's going to have to rotate his players, Paul, but the squad they've got should be good enough. But it's a tight pitch.
I was surprised the squad he played against Spurs in the Carabao Cup final was just about the same.
Yeah.
In the Champions League match.
I don't know what
he didn't use his
Sterling's
strikers.
done.
What have his strikers done wrong?
Gabriel Jesus, you know, I don't know what the story is with Aguero.
Aguero,
You know, but they've got plenty of firepower, Paul. I think Man City will win. The way they're going, you can't oppose them. But
3 to 10.
I like Palace to score, Paul.
Okay. All right, Brighton, Leeds United. That's an interesting game.
The betting's the wrong way around. You know, the last 6 games, Leicester drew at Liverpool. Fair result.
Leicester.
Leeds United are playing Brighton.
Yes.
You know, they drew with Man United. I thought it was a fair result. United had a few chances. And there was somebody else that gave a good show. They beat Man City. Now, Brighton can't score, Paul. You know, last week all the guys were on them. They were terrible. They just can't score. But the way Leeds play, Paul, their Grand Prix, they'll be all over them, in my opinion. And
Brighton can play.
They can play, Paul.
It'll be a good game to watch.
Should be a good game, Paul. I like Leeds. 23 to 10, I think it's a great price.
Okay, I'm ringing that so I can mock you afterwards. All right. Chelsea, Fulham. I think Chelsea 6 to 10 is a good price.
Well, it was 13 to 10, Chelsea to win by more than 1 goal, or Chelsea to win and over 2.5 total goals. Fulham have got to go for it. And I think it'll be a lot more open.
Yes.
You know, and Chelsea, Paul, this is a crucial game. They can't afford to get beat or a draw because a lot of teams on their tails.
Yeah.
You've got to think Chelsea would win.
Are Aston Villa going to win again?
Paul, I just didn't like what I saw. West Brom murdered them. Even Fulham, they beat Fulham 3-1, but Fulham were in control by the last 15 minutes. I was really impressed with the fight Everton showed against Arsenal. I know they got lucky with a goal, the penalty, the offside, and they got fortunate with their goal, Paul. I like what I see from Everton. That was going to be my best bet, Everton, Paul, even money. I think they'll murder Aston Villa.
All right. Newcastle have found a new lease of life. They're about safe.
Well,
Arsenal come out of a cup match this week in Europe.
Yeah, Paul, you've seen Arsenal against Everton. Their minds, they can't finish in the top 6 or 7. This is the upset of the weekend for me, Paul. I was impressed with what I saw with Newcastle. That Alan St. Maxim,
he's a
player, Paul. He'll get a big move, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I fancy when it comes up on the screen, I think it was 29 to 10 Newcastle. I think it was 8 to 10 win and draw, Paul. That would be my play. But of the two teams, I like Newcastle.
Arsenal now, the guy who owns Spotify, this billionaire, the music man, has put in a bid to buy out Cranky. And he wants to get, he's been an Arsenal fan since he was a kid.
Okay.
And he's put this massive bid in to buy Arsenal. He wants to put all his money into Arsenal, get them back to the glory days. Interesting listening to him.
Paul, these Americans are there for the money. They're not there for the club.
They don't sell. But
Man United, the Glazers, they've wanted them out since time began.
If the guys come with money, can they not weaken them? I don't know. Okay, it's just a thought.
System, those Yanks,
so you're going for the draw?
I think a draw in Newcastle, Paul.
Okay. Man United, Liverpool, be a good game.
Paul, I think a draw or Liverpool. Everything's Liverpool will be sitting waiting. Yeah, United, big game tonight. This is Ollie's biggest game of the season. We've got to get to the final here, Paul.
Yeah.
If we don't get it to the final, all of a sudden everyone will come out, he's not good enough.
You'll win as much as Spurs.
Exactly.
Liverpool going to win as much as Spurs then?
Paul, Liverpool are going to give somebody 3 or 4. You can't keep missing chances.
Yeah.
I just hope this isn't the game. But
a good game.
Teams,
Sunday 5:30.
Yeah, I like Liverpool of the two teams.
Okay. Spurs, Sheffield United. Gee, Spurs should be.
Paul,
there's too much quality.
Spurs have got to win. I saw even money Spurs to win by more than one goal. That's the right bet in that game. 3 to 10 in your multi.
If Harry and Song and Mura are on Song, okay, that's pretty easy. Now West Brom Wolves. What's your?
Paul, we watched Wolves on Sunday at Phil Giorgio's box. They got beat by Burnley. Paul, they got totally murdered. I know it's a different game, but West Brom played well when they beat Aston Villa. Yeah, they're a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde side, but I don't see West Brom losing. They've got to go for it. If I had to have a bet, it would be both teams to score because Wolves will catch them on the break. But West Brom are the two teams, Paul. The draw's a big player.
West Ham are way above Burnley.
Paul, the problem West Ham have got is injuries.
Yeah.
Mikel Antonio is reportedly not playing. Neither is Declan Rice. The left back got injured. The centre half Dawson suspended. Balbuena got the red card. He's also suspended. Paul, we watch Burnley. I know you don't like them, but they've seemed to
got better.
Paul, they've drawn a loss.
Play a bit more football.
Yeah, Paul, this could be another one. Paul, I don't like West Ham. I like Burnley in the draw.
Okay. We did look at the championship standings. We don't have to run through them again, but basically the top 2 are through.
There's
2
automatic,
games left.
Yeah, I've gone, yeah.
Okay, and it's predicting something now is just predicting the order they're going to finish. That's
correct,
all. Okay. Now the bottom of the log, we spoke about that as well. Derby County just 4 points clear.
But Rotherham got a game in hand. But if Derby get a result here, Paul, I think they're safe.
So go to 46. Okay. Right. Okay, look at the fixtures, championship fixtures. Sheffield Wednesday, Notts Forest.
Paul, Notts Forest do better away from home but at home. But this is the game Sheffield Wednesday have to win. Steve said it. They don't win, they can't get out of it. So they've got to go for it. I wouldn't be taking 12 to 10 because team second, bottom of the league. I've been impressed with what I've seen with Forest away from home.
Yeah.
They beat Cardiff when I backed Cardiff. Paul,
So
for me, it's a draw, but
draw,
I'm hoping Sheffield Wednesday, but I can't take 12 to 10, Paul.
Birmingham City, Cardiff, is there much to play for?
Yeah, Paul, Lee Boyer's gone there, he's changed them around, they are safe. Cardiff, I'd backed him to get into the promotion places, have been disappointing. They're better away from home than at home, Cardiff. For me, Paul, that 2 to 1 the draw looks a massive player.
Okay. Brentford, Watford.
Paul, I watched Brentford, was on ESPN the last 30 minutes against Rotherham. Rotherham were all over them. I know they caught them on the break. I know Watford have gone up, but Paul, there has to be a little bit of, I just don't see. You celebrate, you're up. Now's the time. Let's try and win the league. Yeah. I think 21 to 10, Watford's a player, Paul.
Okay.
I have to wait to the teams, but I like Watford of the two teams.
Okay. Huddersfield, Coventry.
Paul, I like Coventry. Huddersfield, and every time I back against them, they seem to upset me, but they've been woeful of late. Coventry in the draw for me there.
Okay. Luton Town, Middlesbrough.
Yeah, another game. Luton Town, they've come right. I don't really back them too much other than the both teams to score the exotic bet, but I think a draw's a player there, Paul. Neil Warnock at Middlesbrough, they don't get beat too often. But,
okay. Millwall, Bristol, you discussed it with Steve.
Yeah, I think Millwall's, but they're my best bet for the weekend. Bristol City can't buy a result. So I think Millwall at the Den. And I watched them against Watford, Paul. They lost 1-0, but they fought hard. Watford got a penalty. I was impressed with our Sawn. If they play like that, they should be too good for Bristol City.
Norwich play Reading, who've fallen away.
Yeah, shame. Yeah, they're in 7th place, can't go up. They've won one of the last 8. Nothing to play for. I think there's goals in this game, Paul. Norwich, I think they need 2 points to win the league. But
so it's interesting.
It's interesting. I think there'll be goals in that game, Paul.
Your beloved Preston,
come
Barnsley.
round to play Preston, Paul. You know, Barnsley are one of these up and Adam teams. But coming to Deepdale, I don't see my boys losing, Paul. But, you know, Barnsley, 7 wins and 1 defeat in the last 8.
So we go for the draw if you don't
draw
see
for
them
me as a
losing.
player there, yeah.
Rotherham, Blackburn.
Paul, goals, that's all you can say in that game. And what I saw with Rotherham, but I watched them play at Wickham at home. They got beat 3-0. They were all over them. Just 3 set pieces they got caught with. But this is do or die for Rotherham.
Yeah.
But Blackburn score goals. Yeah, last week they thrashed
So we're getting a few draws to this time.
Yeah, that's...
Stoke, QPR, anything to play for?
I like QPR, Paul. You know, Stoke
have been disappointing.
Disappointing. A lot of players at John Obi Mikel, a lot of old players in their camp. I like QPR. They've come right. So 21-10 QPR is my play there, Paul.
Swansea Derby.
Has to be Swansea.
Critical
Paul.
game.
13-10. Wayne Rooney's team away from home. I think they got 1 point from the last 8.
Sure.
Yeah, they're totally out of sync.
Last 8 games or last 8 points?
away games.
Okay.
You know, so it's got to be, Paul. 13-10. Swansea looks a gift, but they've got nothing to play for bar seeding.
Yeah, seeding's important. Seeding's important. And then Wickham, they're gone, eh?
Yeah, gone and forgotten, Paul.
Bournemouth.
At Bournemouth, I backed Bournemouth last week. They got totally outplayed by Brentford. So you just don't know. But 5-10, I wouldn't take, but they should win.
All right, let's go PSL. Now, interesting, I'm watching some of these PSL games.
Yeah.
Firstly, Stellenbosch, Maritzburg beat them. Stellenbosch looked very good.
Paul, I watched that game. I went both teams to score and back goals. That youngster who plays up front for Stellenbosch, his name's Dupree. When he starts to learn how to play as a centre forward in between the boxes, he'll be dangerous, Paul.
Yeah.
But they just can't score goals. But
Okay.
there's no betting because obviously the game's all yesterday, so the betting will come at lunchtime today.
Swallows, another draw.
Paul, you know, and my man Krobler missed a sitter in injury time to give him the victory, but he's back. But Maritzburg were impressive, Paul. He rested, didn't he? He rested a lot of players. The guy Judas, the number 9, he's a good player. He came on, got the penalty.
Can you trust Judas?
Can't. No. Paul, looks like a draw. I don't see Maritzburg losing, but Swallows have drawn, I think it's 10 of the last 12.
Okay, I was just looking at results for a moment.
Yeah.
Sundowns couldn't win again.
0-0 against Arrows, but Arrows always give them a game, Paul.
Yeah, Amazulu thumped
5-1, 2
City.
penalties, 4-0 up.
Chiefs going to lose to Chipper.
Well, I'd watched 75 minutes and I went home and my phone rang. I thought, well, that's got to be 1-0 Chiefs. Other way round. Chipper hung in. Great result for Chipper.
Bloem Celtic got beat by TTM.
Shakuma Much. They're terrible away from home, Celtic.
And Galaxy beat Baroka.
Yeah, it was a big game. TS Galaxy, that's the old
So,
Highlands Park team.
but let's go through this, then we look at the standings. So
Yeah.
you're going to go Maritzburg.
Maritzburg in the draw, Paul. Yeah, rested
Okay.
play. Swallows just don't do enough.
Chiefs got to bounce back.
Paul,
Have
Bloem
to.
Celtic don't lose. They're unbeaten in 10 at home. Kaiser Chiefs, Paul, they just don't look right. I think Gavin, if he can stay there next season, which Jesse Matong told you he will, they just look like it's a draw there, Paul. They've got the Champions League. That's their saviour this year, the CAF. Draws on Friday, but I don't see Bloem Celtic losing at home to Chiefs.
Okay. Chipper played
Well, this
well.
will be a tight game. You know, Chipper, they just play this tick-a-tacker at home, Paul. They just don't go for it. And Stellenbosch are a young team. Steve Barker, they have a go, Paul. They've got better results away from home than at home, but a draw player for me there.
Amazulu got to go for it. Local
Amazulu
derby.
Arrow second against third, Paul. I think it's the highest both teams have ever been. I like Amazulu, Paul. Benny's on a roll. They've won, I think it's 10 out of the last 11. Be a tight game, obviously.
There were 4 penalties in their
Yeah.
game. Yeah,
Scored 2
okay.
of them, yeah. Amazulu for me.
All right, the next one.
Yeah, TS Galaxy, Cape Town City. You know, Cape Town City had won 3 in the spin before Amazulu destroyed them yesterday. TS Galaxy, Owen de Gama's team, very direct side.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 teams are like Cape Town City, but you never underestimate TS Galaxy, especially at home.
Okay.
Super Sport for me, Paul. Krobler's back. They should have won. They should have beat Swallows. I think they'll be too good for Baroka, Paul. I think they were 9-10. I saw there was only one bookmaker out, so we didn't put the odds up. But I like Super Sport all day.
TTM Black Leopards.
Desperation game at the bottom of the league, Paul. Black Leopards have got to win. The draw's a player, but if I had to side with one of the team, TTM.
And then Pirates Sundown. Another hard one for Sundowns in the sense that if they have to lose this, that means they picked up 1 point of their last 9.
Yeah, well, you know,
How
Sundowns
do you
beat them
see it?
4-1 in the cup the other day.
Yeah.
So, you know, it should be Sundowns, Paul, but they're just showing a little bit of weakness of the lot. They're not scoring as many goals. You know, Chiefs beat them 2-1. They drew 0-0 with Arrows.
That's right. If they lose and AmaZulu win, AmaZulu got top of the log by 2 points, but there's 2 games
in hand. Yeah.
They've done well, AmaZulu.
AmaZulu done great.
And at the bottom, Black Leopards in trouble.
Serious trouble.
15 points. They're 6 points behind Chipper.
Well, Chipper beat Chiefs yesterday, Paul, so that's 3 points were crucial. When you watch Black Leopards, they don't score many goals.
They've got a game in hand, so they can go to 18 points if they win. Sure.
Yeah, pressure coming up.
Pressure. TTM, whoa, they've had 22.
It was a big result for them yesterday, Paul, so it just takes them away from that automatic relegation place.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look at the bets, Budge.
Yeah. Well, we'll do the soccer exotic first, a Gold Circle Soccer 6. I'm banking Man City to beat Crystal Palace. I don't see Leeds United losing at Brighton. I've gone the field in the Brentford, Watford and Norwich City versus Reading games. I think Chelsea will be too strong for Fulham, and I think Everton will outplay and beat Aston Villa.
108
rand, yeah.
Okay.
The PSL one, I'm going Bloem Celtic win and draw at home against Kaizer Chiefs. I don't see Chipper United losing at home to Stellenbosch. I'm signing with AmaZulu win and draw against Golden Arrows. Yeah, TS Galaxy, Cape Town City, it's a 1-2-3. I think the draw's a player, but I've gone Cape Town City in the draw. I've banked Supersport United to beat Baraka FC. I don't see Shakuma Madzi losing at home to Black Leopards, 192.
Okay.
On to the Gold Circle Soccer 10. I'm banking Man City to beat Crystal Palace. I'm going Leeds United win and draw at Brighton. I've gone the field in the Brentford, Watford and Norwich City versus Reading fixtures. I've banked Swansea City to beat Derby. I'm going Atletico Madrid win and draw at Elche. I think Paris Saint-Germain will be too strong for Lens. Likewise, Chelsea will be too good for Fulham. I've thrown the draw in with Real Madrid at home to Osasuna and ended it with Everton to beat Aston Villa, 144 rand.
Okay.
On to the Soccer 13, which only came out this morning. I'm going Leeds United win and draw at Brighton. I'm bankering Chelsea to beat Fulham, along with Everton to beat Aston Villa, and I'm chancing Watford to win at Brentford. I'm going Luton Town win and draw at home against Middlesbrough. I'm going Preston North End win and draw against Barnsley. I don't see Queen's Park Rangers losing away at Stoke City. The second page, I'm going for Coventry City to beat Huddersfield. I'm going Swansea City to beat Derby and Millwall to beat Bristol City. A difficult game, but I went Blackburn Rovers win and draw at Rotherham and Cardiff City win and draw at Birmingham City and ended up in the Swedish Allsvenskan. That league has just started. I'm going Hammarby win and draw at home against Häcken, 256.
Lovely. Budge, your bets.
Yeah, on to the
Tell
bets.
me your thinking here.
Paul, I'm going Leicester City to beat Southampton, and I think Everton will be too good for Aston Villa. I'm going Chelsea to beat Fulham and over 2.5 total goals, seeing Fulham have to go for it. And I'm going Tottenham to win by more than 1 goal, Paul. 3,400.
Okay, you're treble in the championship.
In the championship, Paul, the odds were quite good, and I chanced Watford at 2-1. So I'm going Millwall to beat Bristol City. I'm going Swansea City to beat Derby. That double worked out at just under 4-1. But I threw in Watford. I just think Watford will have a go, and they'll be too good for Brentford. 2,500 to 200, Paul, the championship treble. Our team goals only, I'm going Leicester, Leeds United, Everton and Newcastle United, all to score over 1.5 goals.
Who are Newcastle playing?
Newcastle home to Arsenal. Yeah, it could be 2-2. Remember the other, it was 4-4 one of the games previous years.
Okay.
Paul, I couldn't believe the odds, 27-1, so 5,400 to 200 was our bet. Our both teams to score signs are Crystal Palace, Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal, Norwich, Reading and Rotherham, Blackburn. 2,000 to 200, 10-1, that particular bet.
Okay.
There was no, because of the PSL, there was no betting. So, Paul, I've done a win and draw 5. I've gone for, obviously, the 5, noting 5 teams. I'm going Newcastle against Arsenal, Burnley against West Ham, West Brom against Wolves, Coventry against Huddersfield, and Preston at home to Barnsley, all to win or draw.
I tell you, that bet ain't coming through.
Well, you'll be
I hope
surprised.
I hope I'm wrong.
But, which one don't you fancy? You don't like Burnley, I know
United.
that.
And Newcastle, I think they're going to struggle
I
again.
just can't have Arsenal the way they're playing their minds elsewhere. But anyway,
Okay, 6 or Nixon?
Collis King, 6 or Nixon. I'm going Chelsea to beat Fulham, Tottenham to beat Sheffield United, Everton to beat Aston Villa, Millwall to beat Bristol City, Barcelona to beat Valencia, and Sevilla to beat Athletic Bilbao.
That looks like a bet.
3,400
Looks
to
like a good bet.
200.
That's excellent, Bud. So don't forget, last one standing. When do they start? What games?
Friday, Paul, everyone will get sent this, but most of the guys have used Leicester.
34 left.
34 left. So 4 guys can use Leicester, so I'll get hold of all the guys this afternoon. They'll get their previous picks sent to them.
Okay, it starts tomorrow evening, so make sure you get your bets on for the last one standing. Until next time, stay on side.